According to Compulsion Games, one of the themes of We Happy Few is the value we as a society place on sadness. If you've paid to play this utterly broken game, you'll know that the value of sadness is $60. Quite why this game doubled in price from the originally pitched $30 is beyond me, because it does absolutely nothing to deserve even a quarter of half its current cost. It doesn't really deserve any money whatsoever. It's a defective product that should be recalled, and I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I truly mean it. This game is inherently, fundamentally fucked. I've spent so much of this game simply staring at my screen in friggin' belief. I can't believe that it was released in this state. This utter, appalling state. It's jaw-droppingly, embarrassingly, humiliatingly awful. And even though they never used the voice acting lines I recorded for them back when the game had a chance in hell, the fact people have found my name still in the credits makes me cringe. I'm embarrassed for having the loosest of loose associations with this product. I don't know how anyone could be even vaguely proud of it. It's a stunning nightmare of ghastliness. It's a gourmet meal of what the fuck, cooked by the Gordon Ramsay of bullshit. It makes many other bad games. It makes legendarily bad games like Road to Hell Retribution look positively brilliant. Yes, it's that bloody broken.
It's doing that smoky grindy thing again.
That doesn't sound good. I better I'd come down. Don't try anything clever. We've got a lot to do today, and it takes so long to recover from the spanker.
I've only very rarely suggested that a game should be recalled. In fact, this is the second time I've ever done it, and I truly mean it. We Happy Few should never have been sold in its current state. It absolutely should never have left early access in this state. This leaking, rusty bucket of mashed testicle meat. It's indefensibly bad. It's inexcusably unfinished. It's an effing tragedy. And what's sad is this is a game I have tried my hardest to love. I want so badly to love this game. I fell in love with the premise when they first pitched it on Kickstarter. I quite happily tossed money its way when it was on Kickstarter because I believed in the concept. The idea of this town, Wellington Wells, forcing its citizens to take drugs to forget a terrible thing they did during the war is fantastic. The rainbow-covered streets of the town, the painted-on faces of the civilians, the dead eyes and rictus grins of the bobbies that patrol the streets enforcing the law, everything about the aesthetic, everything about the idea behind We Happy Few is golden. The writing within the game is fantastic, the voice acting is superb. The little English phrases, the references to the Beatles, I love it, and I want to love this game, but this game, as it stands, is dreadful. It's not a case of if something will go wrong when you play We Happy Few, it's always a case of when, and the when is always soon. There's a bug around every corner. Every single quest in this game has some sort of glitch to it. I've almost dreaded trying to tell you about all of the problems I've encountered along the way playing this game, because I know it can't be comprehensive. I know I'm going to forget something because there's just so bloody much. The NPC artificial intelligence is a lost cause. In fact, putting intelligence anywhere near their behaviour is false advertising. They get stuck on pieces of scenery, they walk through each other, you can find them floating through the air. During combat, they'll sometimes just forget they're in combat, or they'll try and get at you through walls or closed doors. I've seen characters die, just straight up die, because I interacted with them. I didn't even pull my weapon out, they just flopped over dead. There are various parts of the map where they haven't added collision detection to hills and inclines so that you go through the floor, which is the kind of amateur hour mistake I expect to see on the very lowest rung of Steam Early Access titles, let alone an allegedly AAA game published by Gearbox, released for $60 in what's a supposedly finished state. The game's most expensive skill on its skill tree, the one that requires the most investment of character skill points, doesn't work. I dutifully completed quests to earn skill points. I saved them up so that I could go down the right tree and unlock the perk that removes the negative status effects from hunger and thirst. Except my character was still getting hungry and thirsty and still suffering stamina penalties for being hungry and thirsty because somehow Compulsion Games failed to make its most important, its most desirable, its most expensive skill work. I've been forced to reload the game because I got stuck in a death animation and the game wouldn't reload. I've had to restart the game because all the dialogue disappeared once. The game has crashed multiple times, forcing an entire restart. In fact, I don't normally stop playing We Happy Few because I'm done playing it. I normally stop because I'm tired of it fucking crashing. I've had items straight up disappear from my inventory. I've pulled out weapons to find out that the weapon hadn't been visually rendered. An important storyline NPC once appeared with her hair missing. She had hair in one scene and suddenly it was gone the next. Some NPCs, again certain quest givers even, have multiple voices coming out of their mouth. They'll say one statement with one voice and another with a totally different one.
Used to be the most wonderful cheese shop on the corner.
I'll be sure to pass along the message, sir.
Well, I thought it was funny. If it moves, salute it. If it don't move, put it away. It's on Monmouth Road, number 22. If you can't move it, put camo netting on it.
The texture pop-in is obnoxious, that's even if textures appear at all. The physics are a complete mess, dead bodies will twitch on the floor constantly, just vibrating. And Jesus jumping jack flash, the screen tearing, the bloody screen tearing everywhere. And the way the game runs, the frame rate dips, pre-rendered cutscenes juddering and skipping and freezing. See, even if we forget the many glitches and bugs, and like I say, I've not provided a comprehensive list at all, We Happy Few still runs dreadfully. It's still utterly shoddy. And the lack of variety in NPCs, this is just a small thing, but the amount of old grannies who are exactly the same wandering about, often in the same scene, you can see 5 of them at once. She's such a distinctive NPC, and she's everywhere, and it makes the game look absurd. And I know that respectively, that's quite a small thing compared to everything else I've discussed already, but it exemplifies just what a cut and shut job this game is. Even at its very best, We Happy Few is beyond unpolished and doesn't seem finished at all. Which is a shame because, again, there's a lot to potentially like about it. When it's not so broken it's borderline unplayable, there is a sense of enjoyment to be found here in wandering Wellington Wells, completing interesting quest lines, taking the joy pill to hallucinate and see the world as bright and colourful before you come down and see it for the dismal, murky place it is. But taken at its best, We Happy Few still comes with a ton of disclaimers. It's a game that doesn't quite know what it is. They've tried to marry the narrative elements to a survival game, which includes old survival game standbys, hunger meters, thirst meters, sickness meters, in a way that seems incredibly dated now. When We Happy Few first came out on early access, those features were relevant and trendy, but years on and it's now kind of old hat. And some of the game's features are so unnecessarily fiddly, like sometimes you need to take a joy pill in order to go through downer detectors, because if they think you're a downer, they'll run you out of town. Oh, and if they do run you out of town, the entire town will turn on you whether they've seen you do something wrong or not, and you'll be chased by dozens of idiots. So you take a joy pill to be rather temporarily undetectable, and once the pill wears off, you'll be in the come down phase, which will last quite some time, and during that time, NPCs will look at you suspiciously, but if you take too many joy pills, you'll crash entirely and be completely sick, and you will eventually always have taken too many because the meter governing that never bloody goes down. The result, eventually, is that you'll have to sit down somewhere or hide in an alley and just wait. just stand there doing fuck all. And eventually you'll unlock enough skills and learn the mechanics enough to not take so much joy and disable the downer detectors. You'll eventually craft enough items that make a lot of the challenges simply go away. You'll be able to unlock the skill that lets you actually fucking run throughout Wellington Wells without NPCs getting angry at you and chasing you with their sticks. But at that point, the game then becomes slightly trivial and boring and pointless, which isn't helped by a number of quests that require you to walk from point A to point B without fast travel in between, since fast travel points are few and far between, and you'll be expected to walk a very long time. There's one particular mission where you've got to carry someone, so you can't even run even if you've unlocked the skill that lets you do it without trouble, and you just walk and walk and walk and walk. The quest objective is so obscenely far away. I captured footage from that mission, but if I were to use it here in its entirety, it would be the entire video footage. The game gets so dull and repetitive after a while, and once the challenges have been rendered trivial, you'll be wondering what the hell you're even doing there. The combat's a sloppy mess, you'll be swinging wildly and not getting a good bead on the environment because of the first-person perspective. The stealth is completely balked, thanks in no small part to the aforementioned screwy NPC AI. And please, if you're putting custom waypoints in your game map, have those waypoints disappear once you reach the location you marked, especially if your map's made up of cut and paste assets, so you never got a good idea of where you are and you'll need to use the waypoint marker constantly. Buried somewhere deep under all of the bullshit is the nucleus of a good game. But the design flaws are compounded by the breakages, just the straight fucking breakages that absolutely litter this piece of shit. That's what it is right now, it's a piece of shit. Nothing short of a No Man's Sky Next style mega patch is gonna fix everything wrong with this game, both the glitches and the fundamental design. I'm going to have realised that I've forgotten at least 5 things well worth complaining about regarding this game once I publish this video, and I'm gonna kick myself for it. But the truth is, unless you've got a notepad and you write down every single thing that goes wrong as you experience it, you will not remember everything that went wrong during your latest playthrough of We Happy Few. And there's a name that's really fucking apt for this game's customer base. We Happy Few is like a who's who of bugs and glitches. If you can remember it going wrong in a game, it's gone wrong in We Happy Few. I can't remember the last time I played a game this fucked up, outside of obvious asset flips and bottom feeders in the very worst bowels of Steam Direct. The fact they had a very successful Kickstarter and support from Gearbox itself, it just blows my mind. I don't expect this kind of work from professionals. I simply don't expect it. Yes, even by the standards of the company that made Aliens Colonial fucking Marines, We Happy Few looks bad. I cannot adequately vocalize my disgust for the state of this game, and I will never be able to communicate to you quite how disappointed I am, quite what a letdown this is. Truly, I want more than anything for this game to have been good, or at least competent. I get no pleasure, pardon the phrase, I get no joy from dismantling the game like this. But the truth is, I've not dismantled it enough. Nobody has the skill or the time to give this game the dressing down it deserves. The fucking Infinity Gauntlet couldn't grant you that level of critical power. And when you're so fucking arrogant you charge $60 for this mess, for this monumental disaster, you have no excuse. I'm no longer interested in any reasons you might have for this game having been so utterly, thoroughly ruined. And finally, what on earth made anybody in their right mind think this game deserved a $20 season pass? Why the utter fucking fuck Should anybody be expected to pay even more money for this toss? To pre-order DLC for a game that doesn't work? How dare you consider even working on more content? How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?